Hey everyone, it's Dot, and tonight I'll be making some General Tso's chicken. However, unlike what you'll find at Chinese restaurants, mine will not have chicken breast or be breaded. Ooh, we don't like bread. Instead, I'm using, ta-da, chicken wings. That's right, we're gonna be making a very fun chicken wing dish, and it's gonna taste just like General Tso's chicken, which is awesome. Now, this recipe isn't mine. I got it from a site that I go to, and if you haven't discovered it, you really should. It's called IBreatheI'mHungry.com, which I just love her name, her blog name. The blogger, Mellissa, she's a food blogger. She does a lot of paleo, low carb, ketogenic recipes. So definitely check her out, and I'm gonna have a link to this recipe below. Let's start with getting our chicken ready to go. Now, you could normally buy the drumettes or the flappers by themselves at the grocery store, or a mix of them if you wanted to. At my grocery store, it was about $5 more to do that, and I got it instead with a little tip here. So I'm just, first time I'm doing this, so I'm cutting them off. And the secret to this, you have your skin side up, you want it skin side down so you can sort of see what you're doing. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna cut where you have the bends, in other words, at the joints. That's where you want to cut everything. And what I like to do, what I've discovered is a little bit easier if I pop them a little bit. It just makes it a little bit easier for me to find and stick with the bend. So let's go ahead and slice. The other thing is you want to make sure you have a very sharp knife. I sharpened my knife just before cooking. Perfect. That's exactly what I want. Okay, boom. The wings are all chopped, which is great. And if you're chopping up the whole wing, definitely keep the tips because you can freeze them and use them when you're making your own bone broth. So good tip. I have these red peppers here. They're all dried, and they're gonna go into this dish. Now, with General Tso's chicken, the key here is that these peppers are what gives it its heat. So they are important to this dish. So all you're gonna do is just go ahead and slice, and you wanna be careful. You do wanna include all the seeds. A lot of seeds, see, they just fall out. You wanna use the seeds. You can cut back on the amount of peppers you're using. The recipe calls for 4 to 5. I'm using 5 tonight because, why not burn my mouth off? I've oiled the tray I'm gonna be cooking them in. I'm just using a little bit of ghee and mix in with some olive oil, regular olive oil. All you're gonna do is you're gonna put your chicken on here. I like to leave a little bit of room between them, but sometimes you just can't. And the key here is you want to make sure the chicken is as dry as possible. You don't want it damp. That's the best way to ensure that it's going to crisp up in the oven. You want your skin to be nice and crispy. As you can see, they are skin up, which is what you want. That's how they're going to cook. No need to season. They're going to go straight into the oven at 375 degrees for 45 minutes. I have all the ingredients for the sauce here. We're gonna get started. You just want a small saucepan, nothing big. I'm using some roasted sesame oil, just a splash of that. Next up, you wanna add white vinegar, rice vinegar with no sugar in it. That's really important. Some brands have that. I'm adding tamari sauce. And tamari sauce is basically Japanese soy sauce, just no wheat. So it's also known as wheat-free soy sauce. I'm adding some sweetener, and I'm using monk fruit sweetener. Peppers. I'm going to turn it on low first. I'm going to mix this up. I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of water. Again, mix it a little bit more. And the last ingredient I'm going to add, xanthan gum. Now this isn't in her recipe. I'm adding a little bit of olive oil to the xanthan gum. And the reason why is I want to create a paste, because just like our gum, if you don't create that paste, it'll clump up. Then you just add your xanthan gum in. And you want to use a light olive oil because there's no taste to it. You just want to beat until everything is combined. I turned the heat up to medium. I want to bring it to a boil. All right, it's nice and thick enough. You can see that. It has a nice thickness to it. But I'm going to take it off heat now. And I'm just going to let it sit here. Now I'm just waiting for the chicken to get done. Chicken is done. Yay! It looks great. The skin is nice and crispy. It's hot right now because it just came out of the oven. And what I'm doing is I'm putting it into a bowl first before I mix the sauce with it. Now it's time to just go ahead and pour your sauce all over the chicken. Now all I'm going to do, using my spatula because the chicken's too hot, I'm just going to start mixing the chicken in with the sauce. The chicken goes back into the pan because it's going to go under the broiler for just 2 minutes. You want to basically bake the sauce in and sort of create a nice little glaze on it. I have some extra sauce at the bottom here. I'm just going to use a spoon, and I'm going to dab it on the chicken. You never want to waste the sauce. So you want to look for pieces that don't have a whole lot or could use a little more. All right, these are going to go in my broiler. High heat. You want it sort of near the top, but not too close. I want about 3 inches. They're going to go in for 2 minutes. The last I'm doing is taking the spring onion I chopped up, and I'm just putting it on top. And I did this in layers, so I've already done the bottom layers of all of that beautiful chicken. Now, the recipe calls for just adding this into the sauce, the scallions, if you'd like. I like doing it this way because you end up not using as much as the recipe calls for, and of course that's carbs. Nonetheless, do what you like, but it is time to taste some delicious chicken. So here goes. I got a lot of stickiness to lick off my fingers and some seeds, but man, it tastes great. It has a nice sweetness to it with the sauce, and then I got a big old piece of pepper in there with some seeds, and that lit my mouth on fire, but I loved it. So this is a great recipe. I didn't make any changes to it really. Definitely encourage you to check out the link below to I Breathe, I'm Hungry for this wonderful recipe, and definitely it's something easy that you can do at home, and it's a great, especially if you watch all the games on Sunday or Saturday or whenever there are games on TV. If you enjoyed the video, hit like, subscribe if you haven't already, share with your friends, and until next time, I'll see ya.